Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at this 2008 BMW 750 Li. So before we get into that, I just want to mention this is the first video back in a while, so hopefully we'll have some more coming up. But just to kind of explain the backstory with this is one of my buddy Kevin's cars. He's provided a lot of the BMWs on the channel, and yeah, here's another one yet. Now this car, I actually was the one that detailed the interior out, so that's in really good shape. The outside still needs to be detailed yet, and all the repairs have been made though, so it's good in that regard. But I just kind of wanted to throw this video together and you know, while I could. And of course it's raining now too, so we're going to move it kind of quick here. But again, it's a 2008. This one has about 100,000 miles on it. I think it's like 92, maybe something like that, 92,000. And this was picked up, I guess it had some issues with some driveline vibration and things. So it's actually riding on new tires now, and I think all the wheels have been refinished. There might have been a bent rim or something like that. So this is the E65 generation of BMW 7 Series. And by the way, I'm going to try to explain as much as I know, but you know, the more I learn about BMWs, the more appreciation I have. But the simple thing is I don't know all that much about them yet. I'm much more familiar with other brands, but it's growing on me. So again, 2008, this was kind of the flame surfacing or crisp angle era of BMW. On that note, this being a 2008, it has gone through a facelift. So gone is the kind of light bar across the back, and they've added these lenses here, which I think actually does clean the car up. And they also changed the headlamps around a little bit, which I think looks nice. But anyway, so starting at the back here, Li is the long wheelbase version for these model years, and that basically adds 5.5 inches to the back seat of the car. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's kind of hard on camera to get a scale of this, but this car is huge. It's wide, it's tall, the doors are long, the wheels are big, like everything is just insanely big. So again, I don't even know what size rims these are, but again, all refinished. These are 19-inch wheels, it looks like. We've got a fuel filler back here, and again, that all will need detailed out. This also has soft closed doors, and look at the nice trim and everything on here. So when you open these up, they actually have an assist. So there's a strut at the bottom that helps them open. So even though it's a big door, it's still very easy to operate. And then of course, all you need to do is just kind of get it close, and the door will actually pull itself in. So going down the side, not too much to talk about. It's just really, really big. There's a nice, nice chrome trim around the windows and nice chrome going up the top of the car. Going around to the front here, this one, you can see the pre-facelifted versions kind of had like a cutout in the lamp, so that's been filled in, and I think that kind of cleans up the front end and looks really good. So this is a nicer looking crisp angle car than what I was expecting. It seems like a lot of the ones you see are the older ones, which I'm not quite so fond of, but this one I really like. All right, so we'll go ahead and start here at the back, and I'm going to try to get the key ready here if we need it, which I think we will. I'd like to demonstrate this with the key fob. Okay, so we have, here's the fob. You have lock, unlock, there's an alarm, everything. So if we go ahead and click the trunk button, it comes up, and that is powered, so that's pretty awesome. Okay, and then basically, I mean, it's just a really big trunk. There's not too much else notable about it. You do have some tie downs here. If you lift up this carpeting, there's another layer of carpeting, and there is a rim down here. So I guess if you have a flat in your 750 Li, you can basically put the spare on and nobody will know. Just pop the center cap in and nobody will know you're riding around on the spare. So you see these compartments back here. They're not actually storage. This one is a fuse panel, and then the battery is below there. So get that snapped back in, and then this one over here is the DVD changer and navigation and things like that. So then of course there's the toolkit up here. I'm not sure if all the parts are here or not. Let's see, there's a few there. I'm not sure what goes in that space, but the towing eye is there, so I guess that's the main one. Go ahead and put that back. And of course the hallmark of any true luxury car these days, even though this is 15 or so years old, you press this button and the trunk closes itself. So, for people that are too busy to do that, you have this. I just want to do that again. I don't think you can actually lower it from the key fob. I think you have to actually do it via the button, so there's still some work involved, but wow, that's nice. I do like the shark fin antenna up on the top as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it here. So nice interior on this one, this nice cream tan color. So first thing, they're not working right now. I think those need repaired, or if they are, I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to be the one to break it if they're not fully repaired. But there's sun visors and shades really that slide out and cover the windows, and those are all operated from these switches here. And then there's also a rear sunshade that comes up back here. So we might as well just start. When's the last time you saw a piece of wood or wood trim like that in a car? And not only is it there, it's also in really nice shape, which is neat. And moving on along the back seat here, you'll notice, man, there's a lot of room back here. These seats are deep, very deep. They're very wide, very comfortable. A lot of leg room. This is a really nice back seat to ride around in. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and try to keep it as clean as I can. But basically I'm sitting, you know, as far back on the seat as I can get to, and I have all this leg room. So, you know, I can even move my feet back, and, you know, you can really stretch out. There's plenty of room. So while we're back here, there's cigarette lighters here. And so you know, you don't have to share. Every passenger has their own cigarette lighter. And then there's, of course, the ashtray on the door. And this car's never been smoked in, I'm sure. Then otherwise you don't have any settings other than just hot and cold and the direction of the air, but you have the vents here with again, nice wood trim. And then here's the DVD screen that folds up, and you can pivot that. So we'll just leave that as is for now and get back to that in a second. There's also a cup holder that pops out down here below, which is kind of a nice placement out of the way. It doesn't take up a lot of room. Look at all the space on the doors. I mean, that's a lot of storage there, not to mention you have these pockets. And I'm told that these clips actually are from the factory, so I'm not sure what they're for, but they're there. You also have handles, grab handles up here with hooks. And again, all the same controls on this side, but there's a speaker back here on each door. You've got the vents back here on the sides, so very nice. And of course there's all ambient lighting underneath too, so just a very well appointed car as would be expected at this price point. All right, so then you have this console here, and this folds out, and you'll notice there's more going on here than what might meet the eye. You've got volume controls here, and your auxiliary, well, headphone jacks really. And then there's this controller which operates the DVD screen, which is really neat. These rear seats are heated and the controls are on the side. And then this pops up for some storage, and maybe a phone or remote control went in there at some point. I'm not really sure. Maybe someone can let us know in the comments. So there's that, and then beyond that yet, there is this pass-through with the ski bag. So very cool stuff there, and it is incredibly comfortable with you know, with all the nice appointments back here. So what a neat car. And now that doesn't want to fold down, so okay, we're just going to leave it up. We'll just let it be. So I'm not sure exactly how that goes. I'm not going to be the one to break it. So there's that. Overhead, you have lighting that'll kind of come down, and it's not like a light, but it just illuminates the console there. Press this button and you have a mirror that comes down and then will swivel. So that's kind of cool. All folds up and in. I'm not exactly sure what's up in here, but there's a vent with some controls up in there as well. All right, and we'll go ahead here, and there's our soft closed door. So again, all you have to do is just kind of get it close, and the car does the rest. Next, I'm going to go around to the driver's side and we'll take a look under the hood. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of cool is, you know, every car nowadays has like a plastic engine cover, and this is no exception. But what I think is really neat about this is that the engine cover, I think, looks really nice and really classy. All right, so if you lift up this hood a little bit, out pops this little handle. So you just grab that, and I mean, just look at the size of these kidneys compared to like my hand, for example. I mean, it's just, the car is just immense. Look at all the space in front of the radiator there and the condenser. I mean, it's huge. This is just an amazingly big car. It's really hard to describe. But yeah, here's the engine. This has all been kind of cleaned up and stuff, but I think that looks really nice and really proper in a car like this. It's a 4.8 liter V8, I'm told, making almost 400 horsepower is what I'm under the impression that it is. Made it to a 6-speed automatic. So again, I could be wrong on some of those things, but again, just a quick review here. So again, all in good shape. No rust on this car, really. It's all in no oil leaks. Everything runs great, sounds great, all that sort of thing. So Really neat, nice piece. I'll go ahead and give this a proper slam. Kind of difficult to do with one hand, but we got it. Or no, we didn't. Well, I'll come back to that anyways. All right, we'll go ahead and start it up here. Actually, before we do that, again, controls here on the side for sunshade and the window switches and everything there. Nice storage bins again, and of course the ambient lighting. I like these door sills. And of course the air for the fence, for the rear, the air passes through the door itself, so presumably there's a duct through, and then all that sort of lines up. So it's a very interesting system there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and get that hood fixed. That way when I'm done with the interior, we can just start driving. All right, so I've gone ahead and done that. So we'll just go over some of the operations here of the seat before I get in. So all the controls are actually on the side. Basically, you just select the area that you want to adjust, and then you use this knob to control it. So back, forward, up and down, things like that. So we'll press this button here, and if you watch the seat back, the upper portion will fold up and down. If we go to this section right here, then the whole seat will move forward or backwards, and then you can tilt it for recline. So we'll just turn that knob like that. And again, this one here, we'll do this lower section, this thigh support, so then that comes out. These are heated and ventilated, and there's also this active seat that kind of reduces any pressure points. And there's 2 sections there for memory. All your lighting controls are over here on the side, automatic mode there. There's the trunk release, which I think, I don't think that one puts the trunk down either, but it still opens it up, which is pretty cool. This was one of the first cars, if not the first car, to have an electronic parking brake, so that's kind of cool. On this side of the steering wheel, we have the controls for in the gauge cluster there, and the turn signal stalk. There's your heated steering wheel button, and there's the steering wheel adjustment knob. These are your lamp controls and things. So there's actually 4 stalks on this steering wheel, which is pretty cool. So I'll go ahead and close up the door here, and I don't have to slam it. Just pull it in close and it shuts. So the key goes in this slot here, and it's a push button start. So I'll go ahead and put my foot on the brake, and I'll have to turn this fan down a little bit here. We've got to get some AC going. All right, so the steering wheel has just come out, and the bolsters have kind of come up and secure you in place there. All right, so let's just kind of take a look over this whole thing. So as you can see, very nice finishes here. It's all kind of this like satin finished material, and not kind of like that black plastic that they usually use, which that looks really nice too. So this definitely takes it a step above, but pretty good. I really like the wood trim in here as well, and it's actually in really good shape. Other than a few flaws, there's mainly just these 2 cracks that you can see right here. But I mean, frankly, for a car this age, that's pretty good. So not bad. So this is the iDrive control system, which is kind of difficult to use in a way. This is the first generation of it. So all you have is this menu button and this favorite button, and then this kind of knob here. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing on this, but there's many different settings in there for the climate control, of course, and that's all your entertainment, changing the radio stations, navigation, all those kinds of things. So you have that. The 6-disc changer, or there's not the 6-disc changer, there's also one in the back. There's a DVD here, so I'm not sure which controls what. I don't know, but that's that one. And I guess I shouldn't have pressed that, but that's that. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And okay, there we go. And then this button here drops down the glove box, which actually isn't huge. It does have this removable flashlight in here, so that's kind of cool. Not the brightest in the days of LED lamps, but anyway, so you have that. Moving on across the center here, we have all the HVAC controls right across this section. So it's dual zone for fan and also temperature. And you have AC, defrost, automatic mode, both sides. That's recirculation. This one turns the whole thing off. Down here we have another DVD slot and a few different buttons there, which is kind of cool. And that's the volume knob. And turn this fan down. We'll turn that off, but good audio system. I'm not exactly sure how many speakers are in this car. It's at least 8 or 9 by a quick count. All right, next we have some trays down here, and yeah, nice big storage there. This one, same thing. And then this is the ashtray here. So again, it's never been used, and it's all nice and clean. And whoops, let that one slide back. And again, just lovely, nice trim, and everything in this car is in really good shape. I mean, these seats, for example, I mean, look at that. That's just phenomenal. It's been very well preserved. Next, you have your cup holders here, which slide away under these little covers. There's that one, just sticking a little bit. And these seat controls are mirrored on the other side for the passenger side there. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to turn on the ventilated seats and also the active seat. Turn that down, it's noisy. These right here, these open up each side of the console. There's more CD slots in here. I think that's just storage. So I'm not exactly sure. Haven't really explored that too much. This is where the phone would be. And speaking of that, this is the keypad for the phone here, I believe. So kind of cool how that slides out. And this is ventilated. There's some vents down in there and just some other junk for filming. We have another power outlet, and then there's your auxiliary port there as well. That just folds down there. Okay, I got that DVD screen to fold back, so that's good. And back to the center here, we have shifters on the wheel. I'm not sure how well those work. There's little buttons right up here both sides, and then also on the back here as well. So presumably these are upshift and those are down, or vice versa. Not super sure on that one. And then you can change the drive modes via this button here. Of course, these are going to control your stereo, volume, voice command, skipping tracks, things like that. You have your wiper control down here, and your shift selector here, which is kind of interesting because you have to kind of press this button in and then pull forward and then go up for reverse and hold for down. It's a little fiddly to use. I'm not sure exactly that I'm using it right, but that's the way I'm making it work. Let's see what the horn sounds like. Yeah, that's pretty loud. That's got a proper large car horn there. Going through the controls here, I think we can, yep, go through the trip computer there. And this one controls, so these buttons here control those. And 12.8, whoa, let's go back to that, hold on. 12.8 miles per gallon, all right, so that's, how about that? 17.3 average speed, okay. Well, with 88 miles of range, this will be a quick test drive. Anyway, so we have your speedometer on the left there, tachometer on the right, pretty simple. Everything looks really nice and clean in here. It's in good shape. And I guess down below, there's really nothing interesting to note other than that's a really big rest for your foot right there, which is kind of cool. And this does have the all-weather floor mats, which is like the rubber ones. That's part of the, presumably the cold weather package, which also includes the heated steering wheel there, which is really neat. All right, next up we have visors. Nothing fancy there. This one controls the sunroof. That's your SOS behind that. And just again, some more lighting options there with the kind of like ambient lighting. You do have home link on the mirror. There's grab handles up top. As far as the headrest, I should note that these pieces fold in, so they're very supportive for you. There's airbags all around, so it's a very safe car. It's also a very quiet car. So, oh, one last thing, there's parking sensors right down here that you can turn on and off. So sometimes they can be a little noisy. So I'll go ahead and get buckled up here and we'll get going. But basically sitting in the car, this is going to be a quick test drive, so I'll just say now, sitting in the car, I mean, it just feels immense. I have this seat, I don't know who had this seat where or whatnot, but I have to slide it pretty far forward just to be able to see. And this is actually a car that I want to raise the height of the seat as well. You know, mirrors are maybe a little small for a car this big, but they're doing the job. But, you know, just sitting back behind the steering wheel of this car, it definitely feels like a large car. It definitely has some presence to it. So, all right, I'll go ahead and get the camera mount up and we'll take this for a drive. So we're just going to take a quiet, slow, leisurely drive here and enjoy this car, because that's kind of the point. The loudest thing that you'll notice as I'm driving this is going to be the HVAC fan and the seat ventilator fan. So, you know, people say, hey, you know, this car, it was like $100,000 new, which, by the way, if you buy this car, remember, you're not paying, you know, for a $10,000 or $12,000 or whatever this goes for. You're paying for the maintenance on a $100,000 car. But anyway, what does this do differently that you can't accomplish with a Honda Civic or something like that? Well, basically, this car turns a drive from a chore into a treat, which is really cool. I'm sitting right here just surrounded by premium materials in one of the quietest cars I've ever driven, feeling no bumps in the road. Everything is falls perfectly to hand. I've got a great audio system. I mean, the ride is phenomenal. The seat is kind of keeping me from feeling stiff or anything like that. This is a car that you could just drive for a long road trip or over the crummiest roads and just feel like a king, which is kind of what it's about. And speaking of royalty and stuff, being the long wheelbase, this car isn't even so much about driving, it's about being driven in. So the back seat is just as comfortable and almost as many amenities as well. So this is a very nice car that helps accomplish that task. So here we are, I'm doing about 40 miles an hour, and you know, it's so quiet. And it's funny because I like running I mean, obviously I have the AC on. It's a little warm and sticky today, but it's the loudest thing. So it's so weird that in a car, like, they're able to insulate out all the noise so well that the loudest thing is the AC. That's just so cool. But the rest of the driving for this, I mean, obviously it's a 4.8 liter V8, so it gets up and goes. It's got a substantial amount of power, and it's incredibly smooth. It's definitely tuned to be more soft and luxurious. This is very creamy and buttery. This is one of the smoothest, least aggressive feeling BMWs, but not in a way that feels like it's low on power or anything like that. A lot of BMWs that I've driven, when you put them into sport mode, they're no, you know, they're like a crack addict. They just, it's insane. They just change personality so much. This one still maintains its stature, but just with quite a bit more power. And that was in regular mode, and I'm not putting it in sport because I'm not going to have it. I don't want anything to happen with this car while I have it, but very powerful in that regard. Aside from that, handling is pretty good. You can't get away from the fact that it is a massive car, but for a massive car, it drives like a car that's much smaller. It corners very well, it turns very well. It feels substantial and heavy, but not in a way that's not manageable. So it doesn't feel like you're driving a truck or a large van or anything like that. It feels like a nice passenger car. Braking is also quite well, as you would expect. This has huge brake pads and rotors and stuff. Visibility is pretty good as well. I mean, it's huge, right? And the shape of it doesn't have a weird profile that you can't really get large glass or anything like that. Nice large mirror here and everything. Yeah, there's not really too much to say, just because of the fact that it's you know, it's a little bit of an older car, so there's not a lot of tech to kind of get into. It's just such a nice driver, though. I think he ended up, I guess, getting this car. I guess it needed, like I said, I think it had some driveline vibration. I think the wheels and tires took care of that. He's the kind of guy that has the kind of luck that makes normal people just want to give up, because some of this stuff is incredible. I mean, he'll spend $4,000 on a car, buying it, fix it up for $1,000 and sell it for $10. I'll buy a car for, you know, $1,000, put $4,000 into it and end up selling it for $2. So, you know, it's one of those things. I'm so happy for him that he's got this. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. So this one will be for sale, so you can reach out on this channel or Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, all those. So there, it's out there. I'll put something up when it's sold, and that will be coming soon as the outside gets detailed and a little bit of paint correction is done. And also, small note, this car will be sold, and what's already been purchased to replace it is a 2014 BMW 750 LXI or LI. I'm not exactly sure on that, so I'm going to try to get that one in next, and that'll be kind of cool because we can kind of compare this to that. So hopefully I didn't bore you too much there with the end part. Thank you very much for watching. We'll get a couple shots here of the driving, and I'll see you with the next one. Alright, I'm going to accelerate up to 55 miles an hour here, and I'm going to set the cruise control, and we'll just listen. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to drive up this gravel lane here. So we're doing about 10-15 miles an hour here. You can see the car barely moves, it barely dips and sways. You can barely hear the gravel